Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to The Grove. You are here with me, Bernard Alvarez, to join me for a short time that we get to spend together with music, magic, meditation as well. Today, we're going to be doing a special, uh, well, I don't want to say it's a Q&A. Yeah, I guess it is a Q&A. It is a Q&A. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what magic, meditation, and mental health have in common. It's something that we all kind of differentiate them into different realms of our spiritual journey. One of the issues that I have found that we forget is how important our mental health is during, especially the early years of going on a magical path, joining a coven, having your spiritual awakening, and how important being psychologically grounded is, and to be discerning with that which we believe. But we're going to get into that all in just a moment. Let me see if I have anybody here on the chat yet. Well, hello, Terry on Facebook. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me here today. And we've got Nico Peters on YouTube. Hello, Nico. Thank you for being here today. Anyway, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this week's invocation of the goddess. If you'd like to join me, you could close your eyes. O great goddess, lady of the night and the silvery moon, she whom is the darkness and the light that shines through it. Hail to thee, great lady of the moon, and hear us, your children, as we ask of your divine presence here within our sacred circle of light, where we have come to partake of the great beauty, strength, and wisdom that lies within each and every one of us. Blessed be. So, again, thank you for joining me if you're just popping in. Like I said, today we are going to be covering magic, meditation, and mental health. And we will be doing meditation in just a moment, of course, as we usually do. But uh, while we lead into that, take a moment and think about any questions that you might have for me in reference to these topics or any other spiritual or magical topics. If you are watching the archive of this, you are more than welcome to place your questions in the comment sections of whatever platform this is being shown on, and I'll get to them at another future show, Grove Show. Anyway, so today, for today's reading from the Book of One, and I thought this was pretty good considering what we're going to be talking about. And actually, I'm going to be reading two passages. It's on page 128 and 129 of my fourth edition of the Book of One, the one with the universe on the cover. The other ones don't have these additional chapters. But anyway, the first one is on mindfulness. In every moment of every day, you are in charge of what you expose your mind to. Just like picking up a donut or a banana for your breakfast, or what you look at, or read, or listen to, you can choose. You have the power to be a better channel for life force energy and an example for humanity. Your thoughts. Falling into the pit of speculation or of an unmanifested reality is an illusion. Take a moment and guide your thoughts to this moment. Give yourself some distance from your thoughts, and you'll make them easier to manage. Know that bliss is the natural state of your soul, and just breathe. And with that, we are going to do our minute meditation. So if you'd like to do some grounding with me here for just a moment, you are welcome to close your eyes and join us for this minute meditation. Breathing in, I am calm. Breathing out, I am in peace. Namaste. Blessed be. I got this one hair that just keeps falling on my face. Okay, so let's get to our discussion here today. Let's see, we got a few more people that have shown up on the chat. I'd like to say hello to Heather on Facebook. Hi, Heather. Welcome. And I see Lana on YouTube. Very good. And I see Terry's got a question. Excellent. So before I start answering your questions, let me give you a little introduction of Magick, meditation, and mental health. So I picked this as a starting off point for our discussion today because I feel they are all very intricately overlapping. When I was running a very formal magical group, our initiates, prior to receiving their first degree, had to go to therapy. It was a part of the process of joining our magical order, our coven, whatever you'd like to call it. We called ourselves a coven. And the reason being is that my students had to do written homework, and the first assignment that they were given was to tell me the difference between Hollywood magic and witchcraft and real esoteric magic and witchcraft. It was our ability to, how do we say, divide out the ones that were in it thinking that they were going to fly on brooms or shoot lightning from their fingertips, and that were really living in this storybook Hollywood idea of what magic and witchcraft is. It's not what it is. Magic and witchcraft is exactly that. It is a craft. Now, with that being said, I have a lot of clients that I do spiritual counseling with, that I tutor and whatnot. And sometimes I still pick up on people that are dealing with some very serious mental health issues that are just not being addressed. I do not believe that therapy is the answer to everything. I don't believe psychiatry is the answer to everything. I don't believe that medication is the answer to everything. But there is a time and a place for all of it. If we are dealing with someone who has some severe psychological issues, it's important to get professional help. And I think that's the point of blending these three together, this discussion. With that said, let me take it up to the next level and say that meditation really helps with that. Meditation and mindfulness are very, very helpful when it comes to discerning the thoughts that are just stories and illusions and speculations, as we talked about earlier with the passages from the Book of One. Meditation has this way of not only healing our spirit, healing our body, healing our mind, but it seems for me, in my experience, and in working with hundreds of people over the last 20, 30 years, it seems to also bring a psychological balance. Meditation has a way of, and mindfulness, I will kind of use those words interchangeably in this introduction, that meditation and mindfulness have a way of helping us to remain grounded in the moment and not letting our thoughts uh, rule our perceived reality. It's a great way of saying it. Don't get me wrong. I believe that anything is possible. I do believe I've heard wonderful stories about these fantastic avatars that can manifest things, out of thin air. I've seen some pretty wild paranormal things. I myself have had many, many paranormal experiences. I still work in the paranormal and do uh, house blessings and removing entities from people's homes. I still do soul retrieval. There's a lot of stuff I deal with in the paranormal, but I approach it from a skeptic's point of view. Why do I do that? Because the way that I was trained in my magical path was that you kept a journal for every magical working. Um, and in that, let's say the assignment was to, I don't know, conjure flame. And I'm actually, I'll share with you a personal exercise that I used to have to do. Um, when I was working on the fire element, I was asked to play with the flame of a candle using my mind. And it's very funny because I started doing it when I was a kid with cigarette smoke. We'd put the cigarette on its butt and stand it up and let the smoke stream up with no breeze around, and I try to like move it with my mind. It was all a part of the training that I was doing in my earlier years. But the same thing with the candle was to make the flame grow, stretch the flame. And of course, it had to be approached scientifically. It had to be approached scientifically. Magic is science that is not yet discovered. That is the way that I was trained, and that's the way that I teach other people. We have to approach it from a scientific point of view, so we know it's not just in our head, that we are performing, that I am making that candle stretch without the help of an air conditioner or a breeze or something added on to the wick, or you know what I'm saying. It has to be done in a controlled environment. Uh, so much so that I was actually asked by a contemporary, I guess you could say, it was an apprentice to the amazing Randy, the professional skeptic. They wanted me to prove that I could do it through like a 3-inch plate glass, window or whatnot. And I'm like, uh, I don't feel comfortable with that. I've never done it through a plate glass window, so I'm not going to do it. But I was like, you're welcome to have the controlled environment any way you'd like, but I'm not going to do it through glass. I just don't think that my energy could go through the glass. At the time, I didn't think. I've never tried it since then, so I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that our magic, our belief in magic, our belief in the supernatural, the paranormal, must be based in fact, not speculation, not in whimsical fantasy. As well, as someone who used to channel, yes, I still channel, but I don't allow them to take over my body anymore. That kind of stuff needs to be approached on a scientific level. I train people how to elevate their psychic abilities, but in doing so, we must be grounded in reality when we do things like that. So anyway, that's why I brought that up, and I thought it was an important topic that needed to be brought up. So anyway, that's not to say some of it gets skewed with some of our personal biases and beliefs, but All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start answering some of your questions that I see here. I see that Terry on Facebook has posted, how do we prevent all the negativity in today's world from dragging us down with it? I've already quit watching the news lately. I can relate. Um, Being on social media and doing the work that I do see a lot of stuff, and that is the next key I will say is take control of your social media. Do not allow yourself to be bombarded with I shouldn't say constant, unnecessary despair. Uh, what I what I do for me is I will watch 20 minutes of news headlines. I actually like to watch like Reuters. They do like a 15-minute overview of global all the global headlines and tell you the stories that are going on. And as well, I keep my social media to about 15 minutes in the morning. If you're in my time zone, you'll notice all of my personal stuff and interaction usually happens when I'm having my coffee and watching my stories in the morning. But I keep it to that. Throughout the rest of the day, I'm focused on my work and I'm focused on my life. Um, So I guess that goes right back to what that passage was saying, that we are in control of what we expose our senses to. As well, there's something to be said for the power of unfollowing. A lot of people are like, oh, well, that just means I'm a hypocrite. I'm censoring them. And not, no, 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 no. Your social media feeds are I don't want to say they're your property, but they're your choice of people that you follow. I mean, you follow them. If you don't like it, you can unfollow them. There's nothing hypocritical in that. Of course, I believe in free speech. Of course, I believe in freedom of expression. But maybe I'm in a place in my life where I don't want to see animals being abused, or I don't want to see starving children in Africa. It's honoring what I can it's honoring what I have to offer. And if I'm not in a place to be able to digest that kind of stuff, it's important to honor that which you are able to um, to share, and then that includes your attention. So honor your energy, honor your attention, and feel free to be vigilant of what you expose your senses to. Remember, harm none, do what you will. You're not harming anyone by unfollowing somebody or even blocking someone who gets a bit nasty with you. Over the last 5 years, my Facebook page we have over 250,000 people on that page, and the core people have changed so much since I've kind of put this into play. We have a wonderful community there now, and it's not so much anger, it's concern. But it's all about uplifting and really trying to connect us as one human family. And I hope that makes some sense to you, Terry. I see Vivian from YouTube is there. Hello, Vivian. Good to see you. Tony, I'm so glad meditation has been helping you. Yes, limiting that is very, very important. Excuse me. All right. Well, I'm here to take more questions if you have any. I see some comments. Hello, Venom Dog. Good to see you there on YouTube. Uh, I despise when I see cruelty. Yeah, yes. I feel bad. I know it happens, and I feel I'm pretending it doesn't. I just can't handle it. Absolutely. You know, there is a difference, and this is a great example of we shame ourselves into not honoring what we can and cannot handle on any given time. There was a time in my life when I could handle that kind of stuff, and I was okay with it, but I am not in a headspace to that. Well, do I support, helping animals? Do I support helping children? Do I support uplifting the world in any way that I can. But I can't do that if I'm devastated, if I'm angry. You'll notice that, a few years back well, more than that, geez, 10 years ago, I kind of crept away from the truther community. And it was like, I'm not an angry truther. I am not. Yes, I want to know. Yes, it's important to be aware of all the evils of the world, but there's no reason for us to saturate our minds, our eyes, our ears, and our emotion with all of the garbage, like, and corruption and horrible behavior of the world. There was a post I posted, I think it was today, and it said, something like, "Do yourself a favor and remove yourself from being manager of the universe." And that really changed my life when I started applying that principle into my life. Yes, of course, compassion is important, empathy is important, but we don't all have to be everywhere at once, trying to fix everything at once. Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story about that. And this is something I'm still struggling with. I'll be honest with you. I was riding on the Blue Ridge Parkway about 2 weeks ago, and a baby deer, a fawn, I guess you call it. I don't know. A baby deer ran out in front of my car. I didn't hit it, but it scared the heck out of me. And immediately my mind went into this whole thing. I'm like, oh my God, that poor deer, something's going to happen to that deer. What can I do? I got to help that deer. It's like, he lives in the forest. There's nothing you can do. Unfortunately, there are roads that go through where they live. But it took me a good half hour to get over that close call of hitting that deer, and like how I would have felt if I hit the deer and all these things. I can't even watch nature shows because of, the lion ripping apart the other little animal, but it's nature. And I think that's one of the things that we forget about in this empathetic mind state and mindful mind state that we want to be in, is that we do not live in a perfect world. We live in a world of contrast. We live in a world of opposites. And the universe has universal laws that are not going to change for us. And that includes the cycle of life, death, gestation, and rebirth. There are just some things that are universal principles. We are not the manager of the universe. Good will happen, bad will happen, healing will happen, harming will happen. It is up to us what we want to align our energy with and what we want to share with the rest of the world. So Tony Lynn's asking me if I saw any of the pictures from the satellite today. No, I'm sorry, I did not see them. I haven't been on social media this afternoon. I was there this morning, but I did not happen to see any of those from the satellite today. So meditation. I want to touch on meditation. We're talking about mindfulness now. Let me talk a little bit about meditation. I have found that a lot of people, and I've talked about this in the past quite a bit. A lot of people do not think they know how to meditate. There is no one way to meditate. As a matter of fact, the more you go into meditation, you're going to find there are so many different techniques. We've got transcendental meditation. We have Zen meditation. We have guided meditations. We have path working, which is a magical form of meditation. For me, I believe that meditation is as simple as allowing yourself to just sit quietly. Your mind is going to wander. That is a part of meditation. There's nothing wrong if your mind wanders. When that happens, you just bring your focus back to your breath. It's going to wander again. When that happens, you bring your focus back to your breath. There's no such thing as a perfect meditation. I mean, maybe the Dalai Lama meditates perfectly. I talk about going between the thoughts. That the goal for me, the goal is to go to the place between the thoughts where there is no thought. Thoughts rise, they crest, they peak, and then they dissolve back into the ethers or the void, so to speak. And then another thought comes up and it goes back down into the void. And be grateful your mind and your brain is working. It shows your brain is working. New thought, new peak, back into the ethers, and then a new thought's going to come along. That's fine. But of this cycle, being aware of the cycle is going to help you. It will help you to become a little bit more objective with your thoughts rather than subjective. So you get a thought, you might even go off and tell yourself a whole story. I was at a meditation a couple weeks ago, and the next thing I knew, I was going off on a whole different tangent, and I had to whoa, let's reel myself back in. I'm here to quiet my mind. I'm here to focus on my breath. And yes, I believe that guided meditations are very, very helpful, and that's why I like to offer them here when I do this broadcast. We'll probably going to do another one next week. So anyway, wow. Okay, so that went by very quickly. We're going to stick around for another 10 minutes because, speaking of meditation and magic, I'd like us to do our intention or spell of the week today. So now that we've had this little bit of a discussion, you might want to think about some of the things that you would like to see brought into your life. It could be mindfulness. It could be a kinder, gentler social media feed. It could be a greater connection with your higher self, or it could just be living a joyful, happy life. So just take a moment, think about what it is that you would like to bring into your life. Again, it could be a job, it could be anything. And we're going to do our intention. So when you're ready, what I'd like you to do, let me give you a moment or two to think about that as I think about mine. And as you're thinking about it, what I'd like you to do is to create a very, very short phrase in your mind, starting with I am. I am in contact with my higher self. I am happy with the peaceful social media feed I have. I am healthy. I am at a new job. Whatever it might be. And it could be anything at all. And begin to repeat that phrase in your mind over and over again. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. And continue to repeat that phrase over in your mind again. I am. And allow the image of that to begin to appear in your mind's eye. What does that look like? See yourself in that scene. We're creating a thought form. And keep feeding that thought form with that phrase of I am, fill in the blank. And as you're sitting in that thought form, I want you to acknowledge, how do you feel emotionally? Acknowledge the emotion that it stirs within you. How happy, satisfied, how grateful you are. And we're going to repeat this 3 times. You can do it out loud or in your mind, the phrase as you hold on to that thought form. I am. I am. I am. Release the thought form. So mote it be. Blessed be. All right, everybody. Well, I wish I would have had more questions today, but I guess I kind of went off on my own tangent myself, I got to admit. Anyway, so by all means, if you are watching the archive, please throw your messages into the comments section. I do believe that next week we will be doing a meditation. I'm not going to promise you that because sometimes I get inspired at the last second, like I was today, and the show takes a whole different view of things. But anyway, thank you all for joining me. Please know that, yes, I am available for spiritual counseling. Yes, I am available to come clear out the spiritual cobwebs of your home. Yes, I am available for distance Reiki. Yes, I am available for distance curse removal. And by all means, if you are enjoying this program, please consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Please consider becoming a supporter on my Facebook page, or please consider becoming a monetary subscriber on YouTube. You keep the lights on and these cool little backgrounds and offering me the time to actually do this a couple times a week, or at least one time a week. Anyway, I love you all so very, very much. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. I love you very much. Bye-bye.